Hello, welcome to my online blog, Cassandra Crossing, and tonight we'll be looking into a book called Some 40 Tales from the Afterlives by David Eagleman, a neuroscientist who examines the questions, what happens after we die? And expressed his ideas with a lot of humor and creativity in 40 stories. I will read one of them, called Prism. God resolved at the outset that he wanted every human to participate in the afterlife. But the plans weren't thought out to completion, and immediately he began to run up against some confusion about age. How old should each person be in the afterlife? Should this grandmother exist here at her age of death? Or should she be allowed to live as a young woman, recognizable to her first lover, but not to her granddaughter? He decided it was unfair to keep people at the age they were at the end of their lives, when much of their beauty and alacrity has been worn down. Allowing everyone to live as a young adult proved an unviable solution because the afterlife quickly degenerated into unbounded sexual pursuits. And at Middle Ages, they talked only about their children and mortgages, making conversations in the afterlife tedious. God finally landed on an ingenious solution while watching light diffract through the prism. So when you arrive here, you are split into your multiple selves at all possible ages. The you that existed as a single identity is now all ages at once. These pieces of you no longer get older, but remain ageless into perpetuity. The yous have transcended time. This takes some getting used to. The different beams of you might run into each other at the grocery store, like separate people do in Earth life. Your 76-year-old self may revisit his favorite creek and run into your 11-year-old self. Your 28-year-old self may break up with a lover in a diner and notice your 35-year-old self visiting that spot, lingering on the air, regret hanging over the empty seat. Typically, the different yous are happy to see each other because they possess the same name and a shared history, but the yous are more critical of yourselves than they are of others. And so, each you quickly identifies habits that get under your skin. It's a fact of afterlife. Don't be surprised to discover that after decomposition into your different ages, the different yous tend to drift apart. You discover that the you of 8 years has less in common than expected with the you of 32 and the you of 64. The 18-year-old you find more in common with other 18-year-olds than with your 73-year-old you. The 73-year-old you doesn't mind a bit, seeking out meaningful conversations with others of the same generation. Beyond the name, the yous have little else in common. But don't lose hope. The shattered resume of life, parents, birthplace, hometown, school years, first kiss, has a magnetic nostalgic pull. So once in a while, the different yous organize a gathering, like a family reunion, bringing together all your ages into a single room. At these reunions, the middle-aged will delightfully pinch the cheek of the young, and the teenagers will politely listen to the stories and advice of the elderly. These reunions reveal a group of individuals touchingly searching for a common theme. They appeal to your name as a unifying structure, but they come to realize that the name that existed on Earth, the you that moved serially through these different identities, was like a bundle of sticks from different trees. They come to understand with the complexity of the compound identity that existed on the earth. They conclude with a shudder that the earthly you is utterly lost, unpreserved in the afterlife. You were all those ages, they concede, and you were none. So, a wonderful book that allows us to examine possibilities in a very creative way, to go beyond the accepted ideas of very old spiritual schools that somehow, to me, always seem so very sure about what happens in the afterlife. Whereas it takes a creative mind like David Eagleman to allow us to explore in our minds, with a lot of humor, what are the possibilities. And there are so many. It's like a prism. And it's very wonderful for me to have explored the ideas through these books, these little stories. So I hope you enjoy this, and remember to keep an open mind about what happens in life and what happens afterwards, because nobody has come back to tell us what really goes on after our death. At least not scientifically proven. So, peace, light, and love from my online blog, and keep mind open. And namaste. Have a good evening.